we presentation. We had a slight technical delay, but we are ready to begin our presentation. This is The Art of Partnering with a Client, presented to you today by Ms. Margaret Krigbaum, a Master Certified Coach. We are the Division of Continuing and International Education at the University of Miami. Our division is dedicated to providing the highest quality education and training, both on the ground and in the cloud, to people of all ages throughout every stage of life. To learn more about our programs, you may visit our website at continue.miami.edu. Is a department within the Division of Continuing and International Education. We offer various certificate programs. We are talking about coaching. We do offer various coaching and consulting skill programs, organizational consulting, advanced professional coaching, and professional certified coach. We do ask that you could visit our website for information on any of the programs that you may be interested in. Today, Margaret Krigbaum, a Master Certified Coach. She's been practicing coaching for over 19 years. She's active in contributing to the professional coaching industry, and she's an award winner with the International Coaching Federation. And I'm going to pass it over to Margaret for the rest of the presentation. We may also submit questions via the Q&A feature. We'll be answering them as we go along. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm delighted to be here with you all. I'm just excited to talk about coaching, and particularly about what makes coaching different from other professions. And the major difference is that coaching is a partnered relationship. For you who are not familiar with coaching, I share with you the ICF definition of coaching. The ICF is the International Coach Federation. It is the largest body of professional coaches in the world. It's a bit like the AMA coaching. The ICF sets the standards and criteria for coaching competencies. It credentials coaches and it credentials coach training programs. And the University of Miami is affiliated with the ICF as an accredited coach training program, which is the highest program designation the ICF gives. The ICF defines coaching, and the University of Miami follows this definition, as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their professional and potential growth. The wonderful thing about coaching, pay to do as a coach, emerge greatness from others. You learn from others, and you get paid to witness the greatness in others. And it all arises out of this concept of partnering, this notion that true partnership is a hierarchical relationship. In fact, a very distinct and different non-hierarchical relationship that things. It first allows the client to be the leader, the learner, the creator, and the outcomes. Everything that the client does emerges from the client rather than from the coach. As a result, it allows the client to create really new and powerful and sustainable ways of thinking and belong to the client because they have emerged from the client rather than been guided by the coach. This allows the coach what I consider to be the most joyful part of coaching, which is to learn from and witness the thinking of the client. So, what I did for a living, and I said I accompanied people on journeys, creative journeys. And I realized that term accompanying very, very purposefully. Not guiding the journey as a coach, behind, but I am walking in step with the company who is a client. Accompanying part is born, it is practiced, and ultimately coach, as a coaching relationship progresses, more and more leadership of the to the client, so that it actually be behind at points simply as an observer, but really accompany the client side by side. One of the things about that is that that relationship of partnership and that relationship of emerging from the client and letting the client be the owner, producer, and of the outcomes in the relationship means it's dependence on the coach. It's a replicable client that the client can own and replicate moving forward far behind they're with a coach. In fact, I think one of the main evidences of whether or not the coaching relationship has been a great partnering relationship is the client the ability to become a great self-coach. Really great coaches who partner well coach in lessons with clients. I have a lot of clients stay for a long period of time, not because they need a coach, because they so love the idea of having a thinking partner, not someone who directs them, but someone who is a partner with them in emerging thinking from them. And the last thing that this partnership does is it gives the really true pleasure of witnessing the greatness that sits with their clients. So I was there because many of you on the call will be familiar with coaching and partnership, but I also suspect that an equal number, if not greater number of you will not be familiar with coaching and the idea of a partnered relationship. So I want to stay here for just a moment and take any questions you may have. And I really want to invite you to ask any question you want at this time. I'll be delighted to answer those that I can. If we have some specific questions about specific programs within the division, I will refer you to the website. But anything about coaching or partnership, I'm delighted to take at this moment before we get into the substance of what partnering is.
Attendees, if you would like to submit a question, you may use the Q&A in order to do so, but there are currently no questions.
So a few seconds. Who wants to type? And if we'll go on with what partnering is.
Thank you.
Okay, terrific. So partnering. Part of the act of a coachee, a choice, and the coach starts what the coachee wants to achieve. It comes to coaching to stay the same. They come to coaching to achieve the big goal, to change something about their life or career, to move to the next level, thinking and they're creating, to accomplish something they have not been able to accomplish yet, or to a very create a clear path toward the next phase of their life or career journey. So at the very beginning, the partnership is about giving the coachee the ability to name what will be accomplished in the coaching process and in each coaching session, the coachee an ongoing choice, path, the direction, and conversation topics the whole and in each individual coaching session within that process. It's really the invitation and encouragement by the coach or coachee to choose throughout the entire coaching process and throughout each session. Important. In each choice the client makes, the new thinking structures deeper into their thinking. The client identifies issues and ways of handling them. Every choice in the process helps the client build a sustainable way of coaching themselves. So this piece of allowing the client a voice and a choice is at the heart and the foundation of what coaching is and what coaching produces. With a more powerful thinker, a more powerful beer, and someone who creates at a higher level than they have created before. And that's true no matter who the client is. Clients who are CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, and I have a wonderful client who's a feng shui practitioner in London. The process of partnership allows each of them to step into the most powerful and best parts of their learning and creativity. And this element of partnership is so critical to the idea of the client's creative process and the client producing for themselves that start from the very beginning. First goal that the mentor coachee mentions, clear to the end of the relationship where the client is determining how to integrate their learning and how to move forward without a coach. All of that rests in partnership. So the first element of partnership is this idea of giving the coachee the voice and the choice in the coaching process and session. The coach has to give away something of themselves. The coach has to be willing to impose their meaning, or their journey, as in terms of the coachee's meaning, content, and journey. A coach's journey prior to the time they're with a client is irrelevant to that client's journey. Each journey is individual, and coaching is, by the way, a highly customized act. It's a series of generic questions. It is responding to the individual or the group of individuals in front of you in a manner that's the way that they think, they process, they learn, and they create. And this is emerging from the client, seeking to emerge from the client. You have to be very careful that you don't limit that emergence by imposing something of yours on the space or on the client. Second element of partnering is to be sure that there is an absolutely open space that is not cluttered by the coach and the coach's methodologies, so the client has all the room in the world to grow own learning and methodologies. I have to tell you that art of holding back instead of being in the situation is not we're taught very well. We're taught how to be the center of attention, not to be in the background or to the side. And really has to learn in order to partner well to be on the side. And we'll talk about that a little more deeply in a couple minutes. The partnering, the third element, is encouraging the coachee to edit or disagree with you. Because coaches really trust coaches, hire coaches, because they have felt a connection with this person. And most coaches actually come into the relationship feeling that the coachee probably knows more than they do. Case. The client is the expert in their life, their work, and their environment. So from the very beginning, you have to invite the coachee to tell you you are wrong, to any conclusion come to based on what the coachee said, or direction. And part of partnership. Partnership does not mean that only responds to the client. Partner always means that the coach allows the client an equal voice. And that means the coach must ask the coachee to edit them, the coachee to tell them when they're wrong, rather than the coachee just agree with the coach. Again, it's important for the coachee developing their own thinking structures. Coach the coach to lead or allow the coachee to agree with the coach all the time, then in the session or in the process is emerging from the coach versus the coachee. Relationship gets shifted from a partnering relationship to a hierarchical relationship. So this welcome, this invitation for me to edit or disagree is another critical element creating an equal partnership within the coaching process. So I'm going to stop there and see if there are any questions about this particular piece of what partnering is.
Absolutely. There's one question from Dwayne. His question: what was in your decision wheel to become a coach?
You know, it's an interesting question because it assumes it had a decision wheel, and I really didn't. My key to becoming a coach was that I decided not to be a lawyer anymore. I had a sabbatical, thinking I was going to go back, and that was in 1993. But I woke up thinking to myself that really wasn't what I wanted to do, but I had no clue about what I did want to do. And I had clients who were calling me to talk about personal issues or business issues, but not legal issues. Then the first article about coaching in a major magazine, it was in Newsweek, a half-page article about coaching, which was a very new profession then. Nobody knew what it was. About would help someone discover the best of themselves, and your job really is to help them emerge that rather than telling them what to do. I thought that sounded like a very interesting relationship to be in. I felt like it would be a really lovely to be in and very different from the lawyer-client relationship. And I want to be very clear that I think we are wonderful people and do great work in the world, and as a matter of fact, I have several clients who are lawyers. But I would be in a relationship that was not winning and losing, and I was in a relationship that was about me directing, the expert. I investigated coaching, and at that time, the coach training schools. Now there are, within the U.S. alone, there are well over 165. Across the country, and I took all of them, and doing well, and some of them were on the journey to becoming successful. But what was that every single person I talked to was loving the work they did, and the about coaches was it's one of the most generous communities I encountered. The person I talked to, who was Edie Perot, who's another master certified coach, sent me all of her business. So she started clients, and she, without asking me to become a client, she did that without any pro quo, as we would say in the law profession, generously said, if you're interested in this work, I want you to know about as much about it as you need to in order to make a decision. And that's different than the community I had just come from. And at that time, I at least wanted to run the experiment of becoming a coach and trying to make a living doing this, what appeared to be incredibly joyful work, being with others. So I was in a coach training program, which you must do in order to become a good coach. I hired my first coach, which we must do to become a good coach. You have to experience the role of client. Set out on a coach. It was the best decision I ever made in my life. It was really a struggle to build a practice, mainly because people didn't know what coaching was. But in the midst of that struggle, I discovered really being an observer of others and a witness to others and a partner with others brought in yourself so much as a human being as a result of the generosity of my clients in sharing themselves with me, and much as a human being as a result of the generosity of the coaching community. And I love doing every single morning. So you asked me about my decision wheel. My decision wheel was really circumstance and happenstance. But I would say to anyone who wants to consider this profession to really think the potential joy that to work with others without needing to be a winner or a loser, but simply needing to be a witness and a partner.
Margaret, thank you so much for that amazing response. We do have one more question before we can continue with the presentation. Don is asking, what are good examples of how to convey meaning or context we need to do beyond our personal experiences or the observations of other experiences? Sometimes just ask outright our opinion.
So when people first come to coaching as clients or coachees, they don't know what the process is. So part of your job as a coach is to train what the process is about. And often people will come searching for an answer that really, but we're trying to ask the opinions of others, and all asking the opinion of others and getting somebody else's response allows us to skip some important work along the way. Certainly, and I hope I'm answering your question, generally when someone, coachee, asks my opinion, I'll remind them my job is to be their partner. I'll ask them what it is they're searching for in my opinion. In terms of illumination of issue. That work back to a client, probably 6 to 97% of the time, themselves that needs my opinion. If I'll ask a client to come up with 4 or 5 ideas, and one. Just a starter for their own thinking, but not as a habit throughout the process and session. So I that answered your question or not. So I want to check back with you and see if it did or whether I missed the meaning of the question. Okay, so let's talk about in order to partner fully. There are a number of attitudes a coach has to have in order to partner fully. The first, they have to actually actively look for places to partner in the coaching process and session. Part of a very unique and seldom practiced art. Leaders and followers. you sit in, it's conversations with other people in your life, with your coworkers, your significant others, your teenagers. Someone always looking for a place to tell their story. Often a conversation, when you're looking for the place to tell your story. An example of that is when someone medical situation in their life, when there's a pause, tell them about your medical situation that was similar. We have that conversation. What we really do is we look for the place to tell our stories. The coach has to make is to look for places to partner and story and clients' thinking, clients' viewpoint, rather than looking for a place for the coach to insert something from themselves. Probably the largest shift in coaching. And the other thing is that when most people start our program, the University of Miami, our Certified Professional Coach program, they have a very easy shift. Into the 11 months of the program, almost everyone in the class says, I'm now self-absorbed. I am in my own conversations, and I don't part well. Ability to stop myself from wanting to tell the story is on the surface, and as much practice as good tennis player or a great golfer. It really takes such intention and such willingness to see someone else before you see yourself. So a major shift for a coach to actively look for a place to partner in the coaching process and session and to consistently do it. An entire process and throughout a session to look for the multiple places where you can invite the client to use and the client to have a complete voice in the way a session or a process develops. Which is, you must be willing to be consistent in inviting the client to participate in the creation and the development of the coaching process. At the beginning, because clients don't really know what coaching is for the most part. Some of them will have been coached before, but oftentimes relationship is a new relationship to them as well. So they're used to having a partner, more used to following someone. So they also have a learning path to be on to be successful in the coaching relationship. And consistency is important. It's the client or the coachee develops the habit of stepping into design and guiding themselves in the coaching process. And the client understand how to do that. The coach must, particularly at the beginning, be consistent in the invitation they extend to the client or the coachee. It goes to the internal being of the coach, and that is that you have to be willing to be at risk in the session. And by that I mean you have to be willing to be authentic. You have to be willing at times to not know where to be and be imperfect. The worst coaches try to be the perfect certified coach. Because when you use perfection on yourself, you limit the space the client has to be imperfect and to experiment. And coaching, it's hard. Being a partner relationship, it's an improvisational act because you're responding to what the client offers. And you do that in a highly customized way. You invite all of the client forward, you have to make space for all of the client, and you have to allow the client to feel that within the coaching process, it is okay to make mistakes. because experiments that sometimes fail lead to the true experiment that succeeds. It's new things when you're uncertain. And all gets modeled by the coach part in authenticity, in imperfection. Open creative space, then knowing that each of us can make a mistake and there is consequence to the mistake in the relationship. There's only learning. Of being a space where you as a coach are willing to be less than perfect is for the client to feel that they can do all and every experiment they want to run throughout the process. It's a foundational piece of partner. The bring in order to partner fully and well, client to be an equal or greater contributor in the coaching process and relationship. By the way, that's out, but that's important. Relate what you get satisfied out of the coaching relationship. But there, the other critical for partners is to be a complete student of and from the client, and that does not need you. They have chosen to be in the relationship in order to have a partner help them emerge to whatever it is they're trying to create more quickly, more just fine without you. Or where they're currently content, or accomplish everything they want to accomplish, but do it a different way and pace, but without you, just fine. When you get a coach, you can step into the place where the coachee is your teacher. But in order to really be a great partner, you have to decide any ego, and this is also critically important and not on the slide, need to that's a place. You need to be acknowledged, or the minute you need to be in control, then limit the partnership that can happen. You will, by consequence of needing to be acknowledged or needing to control or needing to be right, impose things into the space so that you get recognized, rather than creating an open space so that the client gets fully recognized. Huge growth curve as a human being, partner. But to begin the journey, one of it, you will find that all your relationships will improve. Not relationships with your clients and your coachees, but your relationships with your spouses, your coworkers, kids. Every shift, because you become more of a learner from others, and you'll have more room for what others believe, feel, and say within space. For me, of becoming a coach, besides doing joyful work, is that I have become a much better person to be in relationship with, because I'm so much more willing than I used to be to have and have to the recognition, to help center of attention, to an opinion that is radically different from mine is that person and has value. Big shifts is that when you become a master of partnership, is you recognize there is value in almost everything that is completely different than you believe, even if value is only for that person, but that has to be honored. So these that a coach has are not only attitudes for being a great partner in the coaching relationship, but for being a great partner in any relationship. And particularly also looking at time that I want to pause and see if there are any questions.
Questions at the moment. We can continue with the presentation.
Okay. So I'm in the slides. I want to a couple things about coaching generally that are important to recognize that builds this aspect of partnership. And coach is always a co-created relationship. It's never that's driven by coach. It's a relationship that's to build in it. Be at the top of their game, sustain themselves at the top of their game. And that's whether it's the top of their game in their life, or the top of their game in their career, the top of their game as a leader, or the top of their game as a strategic thinker and planner. From the client and are the press. The client is an expert. One of the wonderful things about this partnership is it allows you to, as a coach, work in many different fields, many issues, many different industries, because you don't have to be the expert. All you need to do is be the partner who has some very interesting and questions that help the client a deeper process of thinking within themselves.
That's great. We do have a question about that topic.
Okay.
Jennifer's question is, what are the first getting to know you type questions you ask a new client?
Getting to know ask is what coaching. The other thing about people who come to coaching is they don't come to coaching for small things. They generally come to coaching for big things, or things that are very meaningful for them. So we first say why they want a coach and what they hope to accomplish. It opens a window into what is meaningful and important for them. Their answer will naturally beget the next answer, the next question from the coach, leading to a picture of this client. So I'll also say that's, I think, important in response to this question is one of the attributes a great coach has is being in a relationship in a moment. Right? The fact that a participant or a client has come and placed trust as a coach and hired you as a coach or is talking to you to become their coach is a relationship, and that you don't need to know a lot to that person. That relation starts then into what that client seeks to themselves that's being where today. That's the very first question always. Another question is, what do I need to know about you to be a great coach for you? question is, how it immediately gives work back to the client to what is it I want this person to know about me. So it's the act of giving the work back to the client and asking very open questions rather than very vague questions. Because the more open the question, the more information you'll get from the client and the more thinking the client will have to do. I generally just have a couple questions to start the relationship, and the rest of my questions emerge from what the client tells me. So the information you need, or that there's any follow-up that you need.
Questions at the moment?
Okay, terrific. So I think that I'd like to talk about relationship to the coaching relationship that builds leadership. A coach as a follower. I really love being a follower. And I don't mean that I don't have moments when I step into leadership positions, but I do that outside the coaching relationship. To the extent I want to be a leader, I'm a leader in the ICF in several projects. I'm a leader at the University of Miami of this program, of our coaching program. But in the coaching relationship, I set aside all the responsibility of leadership and become such a freedom in that, and where your only job is to witness this client where they lead, merge more about where they want to go. This is a completely lovely place to be. And the thing about it is that when you be masterful at part following, you're masterful at creating. I was with senior executive in a Fortune 500 about our 8th session into the coaching process, and I think I have this figured out. And up to me, so I can do better. And I said, right. And he's the best relationship I've ever had. It's taken farther and deeper than any consulting relationship I've ever been in. Not didn't get value from his consulting relationships, and there aren't many times when telling someone what to do is valuable to be in. A relationship that grows the creative ability of the client. And his direct reports, giving a text to the way they work together. A couple of weeks ago, he had a 360 that was done, which is an evaluation by his peers and direct reports. And every that is a better person to work with, access more of the creativity in his direct reports and the creativity in himself than 2 years prior in the position he held. I want to be clear that partnering has, as within the coaching relationship, the effect masterful creators in class. Watch someone grow into masterful creation and masterful thinking and masterful producing. That's what makes coaching such joyful work, and why we have so many people moving into training programs and so many people in the University of Miami coach training program. We start a class at the end of February, which is completely full. And part of the reason for that is people are searching for a better way to work with others, and a way that allows more and more completeness in the work, not only for them but for the coachee. People who become coaches stay coaches. We have people who come into the classes who are not going to be professional coaches, who simply want to learn the skills of a professional coach, and particularly skills of partnering and as a coach. Because they do that and they bring that back to their current profession, they are better in their current profession and much more proficient in their current profession. The program, doctors, lawyers, human professionals, and each of them takes back to what they currently do a range of human connective skills that make them better at the job. As you may have guessed, I'm completely passionate about coaching and completely passionate about partnership. Because the relationship, a partnered relationship, is the one relationship where people walk total winners and complete and growers in an experience. With that, I'm going to close, but before I close, I'm going to see if there are any more questions.
There are currently no pen, but I would like to invite people to participate in the discussion online, whether it's on Twitter at ContinueUM. You can also call our office at 305-284-4000 for any questions that you may have about the professional coaching program. You can visit our website, continue.miami.edu. At this point, if there are no other questions, we will go and end the event. There will be a survey, so you can provide any feedback or suggestions for further topics that we could cover in other webinars. Thank you so much for your presentation and for your time, Ms. Krigbaum. We appreciate you presenting on the art of partnering with the client. Please stay tuned for our next webinar, and it is on the art ethically on February 18th at 1 p.m. You can visit our website, www.continue.miami.edu, to register for that event. Thank you so much, and with that, we'll conclude today's presentation. Have a wonderful afternoon.